Alright, here we are. Kai here, trying to make y'all a video on how to do character creation correctly. Here's a blank sheet. It's not entirely updated, as you can see. The energy and the movement, mana and whatnot. Chakra was incorporated there in the 1.8 version, but we'll change that later. This is old printouts, 1.7, so don't mind all the changes that I've made, like right here where I crossed out that and put chakra 0 out of 3. Okay, so rolling a character basically says once you pick out your race and class, and I would choose a class first because certain races can't be certain classes. So you can start rolling your character, fill out on the underscores and the parentheses with all the character information, blah blah blah. So basically you're just checking this out. Put your name, whatever name you want to be, the age, that's is whatever your character information. Some races live a little longer. If you want to go for whatever age you want in the allotted racial whatever, you can. I would pick your class first and then your race. Once you do that, pick your class, your race, you got all your stuff, pick your name, age, whatever gender. The rocks, the Golocks, they don't really have a gender, so you just whatever, neutral, I don't know, or pick whatever gender you want. I don't know, you got like 9 different genders you want to pick, doesn't matter. Ignore status for now, ignore the wilderness level because you're not in the wilderness yet. Your faction will be Valoran or Chaosis, whichever, depending on which race you pick, because different races are part of the factions. For now, it doesn't matter. We're going to be partying with everybody, so I wouldn't put too much stock in the faction. Whatever race you want to pick for now is fine. If you want to change it later, you can change your stuff and change your stats. I'll let you keep the level. It's not a big deal. Homeworld, mostly going to be Destria. Some of the elves aren't from Destria. They're from a planet called Dorcine. So that's, I guess, unimportant. Your guild, I have mine as Destria's Chosen. So that's just a guild we made up. There's no guild perks or anything like that right now. We're just kind of a group going around doing whatever we want. Alliances, that would be for conquest mode. So leave that blank. Feats, leave that blank for now. Height and weight within your racial limitations. Arena wins, losses. WL means wins and losses. You'll be messing with that once you get into arena mode. Conquest mode and arena mode are both level 10. Weapons you can use, the languages, common, everybody speaks common, plus whatever other languages. That'll be slightly important if you're trying to use diplomacy on people, like trying to calm them down or make them mad or taunt them. For most taunts don't require the language to be able to taunt them. You basically just like, come at me, bro. And that's about all they do. Major city is going to be whatever race you're a part of. Like if you're a Golok, you're from Runeco. If you're a human, you're from Glenaria. Or if you're an undead, you're from Lanek. Armor type, depending on your class, different classes, different armor types. There's cloth, leather, and plate. That stuff just depends on which class you picked. Weapons, same thing. Certain classes use certain types of weapons. So a lot of tougher classes can use like dual wield two-handers, so like make sure you put both things in there, like can dual wield two-handers, so that when you come down here to your gear, you'll be able to put in two-handed blah 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 warhammer, two-handed battle axe, two-handed sword, claymore, whatever you want to call it. That's up to you. Your profession, you'll be picking later. You can pick it now if you want. There's a whole list of professions, trade professions here. It's on page 6 and 7 and probably more. That we'll get into later. So don't worry about this and that. Next, you'll be doing your stats. Here's where it gets a slight bit tricky, which it's not even that tricky. Once you pick your race and class, you'll be filling in your racial abilities and do the same with your class abilities. Leave feats blank. So like here, this is my my Lynxy monk. So my racial abilities are going to be my Lynxy abilities. These are cat abilities. It's actually a lot of really cool stuff. Leatherworking, they're really good with leather, and they do all this nature stuff. Revenge, nature's blessing, Destria's protection. They're like one with the planet, so they kind of have that issue. Class abilities, Soulless. You can write out what they do, like Soulless dash, blah, 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 whatever it does, so you can reference it later. But you'll be using that for, like, the battle log will say stuff like your ability list. You don't have to, like, write out what the ability does, just the ability, so that eventually, once you understand what the ability is, you want to put it here so that you keep it, you know, fresh in your mind. So you'll have it on call, like only your battle abilities. Like my ability to be a good leather worker doesn't really matter in mid battle, so I didn't put it in there. Anyway, that's your battle log later. But once you get your stats going, you'll want to do certain things. Now, blah, blah, blah. Copy and paste your racial abilities. Once you see all your racial abilities benefits, you can roll your character, like the word roll, meaning you roll dice. If you need help with that, I can help you. If you're rolling your character, then first you input your range. That depends on your class. If you're a mage or a wizard or something like that, wizards have like pretty good range. They have like 12 steps, which is just like in a grid. It'll be the same thing as like 12 feet or 12, whatever the grid is. It'll be whatever it is. So, melee is always going to be 0. Melee range is 0 steps away. So if they're the next step in front of you, that's no steps in between you. So the number of steps in between you and that person are going to be what makes how far away things are. And you roll 6d4 and apply each number to strength, agility, wisdom, speed, and diplomacy, and willpower, as you see fit. If you roll numbers, it doesn't say here, but we'll grant you an extra roll. Let's say you roll like 4 ones or something like that. You can pick one of them and re-roll that number. You input those numbers into your character sheet after 1d4 in the corresponding thing. So you'll see here, strength, 1d4, you put your number that you rolled, agility. Now if you're a melee class, you're most likely using strength, but some will use wisdom as well. The monk uses agility, so I put my highest number there. And it adds to your attack mod. There's only 3 attack mods, strength, agility, and wisdom. Every class uses one of these or 2 of these to use as your main attack stat. And then armor and willpower are the 2 defense stats. Speed determines your initial like your initiative, who goes first in the turn order. It also determines a few other things like agility and whatnot. You know, your speed affects your agility and this and that in certain ways. Diplomacy is a really weird stat. It's got a lot of innate abilities, like you can try and talk somebody in, you can try and calm them, you can try and make them think you're their friend so they won't attack you. You can try and berserk them, meaning that they only attack, and that's they can't use like abilities if they're in berserk. All that's explained in the rule book over here. Big old rule book, like 26 pages, but it's not that much when you think about it. Resistances applies after your attack rolls are all done, and you get racial resistances, and then you'll get class resistances. Feats later give you certain resistances, like if you kill 100 ice mobs, you'll have like 5 resistance to ice. Like you'll know, you essentially learn how to defend against ice later. Stuff like that. But feats, don't worry about that. Just input your 2 race and class resistances once, you know, that's for later. But you, after you apply each number onto your character sheet and the corresponding stat, then you look at your racial class abilities to determine the initial mod rolls. So you'll look at something like the Dark Elves get adaptation, which is 1d4 to your initial wisdom or agility mod. That makes them a little stronger to attack. Whenever they're attacking, they'll get a little boost to their attack there. And you input them into your character sheet after I&I mod, which is right here. I&I mod 1d4/A, which means on attack. So like, I don't get the initial 1d4 right off the bat, but at every attack, I roll an extra 1d4 on. So that's what that means. To complete your character stats, if you wish to, you can purchase and get gear, items, profession items, blah blah blah. That's just like helmets, necklaces. Profession items are like stuff that the different professions do. Like your belt will give you an inventory slot, and that's a leather worker can make you a belt, or you can just go to the city, hypothetically, and buy a belt from the vendor there. Belt buckle is made by a plate by the blacksmith and not the leather worker. Consider it the same as like an enchantment for your belt. So you can't really enchant your belt. Weapons, you'll get like a basic weapon at first. I'm a monk, so I use fist weapons. It's the only thing he uses. They have agility on them and speed, which is great for a monk. It's basically what you need. But like for your weapons, they have inscriptions. So rings, necklaces don't get any enchantments or any extra added bonus. They are the added bonus. The gem type is agility, and it's a level 1 emerald necklace, so whatever emerald gives me, which is agility, it will give me 1 point in that stat. So if you come up here from your gems, 5, since I got some rings too, emerald rings, 4 of them. That's why I put the double hash marks there. It means 4 emerald rings. I didn't feel like writing it out. They all give me agility. 4 rings plus a necklace that all gives me agility equals 5 plus 5 agility after gems. Now, EN, enchantments, IN, inscription, BB is your belt buckle. You put all your enchantments, basically just your extra stats. Right there, I have like, I think my belt buckle. Nope, it's an enchantment. Level 1 enchantment on my head gives me agility. So I have 1 enchantment on my head that gives me an extra agility, plus my weapon. Since my weapons have agility on them, and I have 2 of them, 1, 2. That'll give me 2 there. My weapons also give me speed, 1, 2, and they're both level 1 weapons, so they each only give me 2 points. Equals, after all that, 4. That's how you do all that there. Your health is 10 plus your initial mod, which some classes or races have an initial health mod. Most don't. Basically, your tank classes, your plate wearers, blah, 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 and mostly your tanky races like the Goloks and the Dragons and this and that. Or Drogons, I should say. Stuff like that. Dwarves have initial health mod, I think, or armor mod or something like that. But you get +1 per level bonus. So, like, your level bonus is 1 through 9. Level 1 through 9 gets 1 every time you level. Level 10 through 19 gets 10 health every time you level. And then so on and so forth. 20 through 29 gets 100. It will be exponential that way. Trust me, it scales correctly. You'll see things get a little out of hand once you get it to those levels, but you'll get used to it because things will hit harder. Things will be tougher to hit. Now, movement, you get 3 plus whatever gear, which is your boots, your feet. You can enchant those to get a higher level. You can get higher level boots, both of them. Not only do they give you a defense mod, but they'll also contribute to your movement. Now, you can only have a max movement of 10 while you're in an encounter, but outside of an encounter, there's no maximum. So like, let's say you have level 40 boots. You'll only be able to move 10 steps within an encounter, but outside you move 40 steps into the wilderness. So like, you'll be able to move, one action will be 40 steps into the wilderness. Then you'll roll for a chance to, have an encounter. Then you'll move another 40 steps, or whoever's the slowest in your party. That's how fast you move. Through this, and this is just through the wilderness. Like we got 12 steps into the wilderness. And my best is 20 steps for this character. So and that's just level 1. Level 2 wilderness is after you go 100 steps in, and level 2 mobs are actually way tougher, and they're not easy to kill. They're stronger. They're a lot more beastie. So, after you purchase gear and weapons, you get the benefits. Once you finish buying all your gear and weapons to determine your armor and your willpower ratings, you input them as your stats as well in the gear. So, right here, all this gear adds up to 3 armor, which you can choose 1, 2, 3, whether to put it as armor or willpower, because that'll essentially determine your defense stat. And I've chosen to do it this way instead of having them both, instead of having each piece of gear add one of each, because there are sometimes you want a stronger magic rating, or sometimes you'll want a stronger armor rating, depending on your initial stats and whatnot as your character. So you can choose which defense you want, W for willpower and A for armor. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 willpower. Since I wear cloth, it only gives me 1 per defensive stat, because these are all basic. So the gear G level 1, they'll give me, and they're cloth, so it'll give me 1. If it were leather, it would give me 1.5. You don't count the half when you're rolling, but let's say you have 2 of them and they're both 1.5, that'll add up to 3. So like, it'll be a little tougher, just a little bit tougher to defeat as a leather. And plate wearers get 2 flat out. So like, if I were a plate wearer, this would be a level 1 back piece. It would give me 2 willpower. So instead of having 5, I would have 10. So, and for leather, instead of having 5, it would be, I don't know, it'd be 8, because you round down, since it doesn't count. The 0.5 doesn't count until you actually get more than 1. So like, it'd be 8 and maybe like 9 actually, because these 4 would give me, this would give me 3, that'd give me 6, 7.5, so it'd be 7 actually, not 9, my bad. Math and stuff. So yeah, you just determine that. The D is for durability. Level 1 item gives you 1 durability. As you progress, if you die, your weapon's durability completely breaks. Like, it doesn't matter how much your durability is, it'll break completely when you die. And then all of your gear here, besides for your necklace and your rings, because they don't have a durability level, all your durability will go down 1 point when you die. So for your gear, your regular gear, you can wait to repair your durability there until it's at 0. But every time you die, you'll have to repair your weapons, because they'll be at 0. So unless you just buy a whole new weapon, which is rather pointless, because it'll cost more than repairing your durability, which is essentially almost the same thing as buying a new weapon. Depending on if you have friends who can fix them. Tailors can fix cloth gear. Leather workers can fix leather gear, and plate wearers fix plate gear, obviously. Or if you're an engineer, you can fix them all. And as for weapons, it's mostly blacksmith, depending on if the weapon's like fist weapon, like that's a leather. You'll have to contact a leather guy to fix that. Or an engineer. Engineers can fix anything. They'll fix all your durability on all your items. So, once you figure out your armor rating and your willpower, you'll input it up here. Initial mod, 1 per level. That's because I am a monk, and willpower has a lot to do with healing, and a monk is a healer. So I get an initial 1 per level for my willpower. A lot of classes don't have that. I also get 1 per level armor, just because that's how that works. They do that. That's what monks do. Plus your gear, which was 5 for my willpower, see, and it equals 13. For my armor, it equals 7. So I'm level, what, level 3? Level 4. So I'll get 4, because it's 1 per level. I'm level 4. 4 plus my gear is 3. 7. So you'll input all that stuff as you go. I have 8 gold right now, because I've bought a couple of enchantments and this and that. But you start off with 100 gold. Everybody does. And then once you finish that, you'll come over here, do the same thing for enchantments if you want to buy them. Start off level 1 weapon of your choice, including your gear. After you finalize all your character stats, you input the information into the bottom of your character sheet in the battle log, which is this. That's your inventory, like resurrection scroll, health potion, level 10 health potion, this and that. Remember to put all your class abilities and whatnot. Your battle log, this is where you put your name. Your level, I have to change that, it's level 4 now, but you know, this is, we haven't played up until then. Status effects will be like if you're frozen, or if you're confused, or this and that. You'll put that there. As you're battling, the status effects go away once you're done battling, or once you rest, I should say. Because otherwise, if you don't rest, you'll continue to take poison, or you'll continue to take bleed damage, depending on which status effect you have. Then you put your initiative, which is your speed here. I know there's already speed down here, but that's for something else. So your initiative is your speed plus your 1d20 roll. Every encounter, you'll roll a d20 to see who goes first for initiative. So aggro, total aggro, you have the aggro per round, which will add to your total, which can go up and down during the round. Like total damage, TD, TH is total healing, and LH is last hit or last heal. Now, I can explain aggro, but I'm not going to do that in this video. It's relatively self-explanatory, and the rule book already covers it pretty accurately. It gives examples and everything. 3 people fighting, 1 guy's a healer, the other 2 are fighters. And but basically, your total damage, your total healing, and your last hit or heal will add to your round total. And then as that changes, it'll go up and down depending on what actions others take in your party, and what actions the minion takes, and blah, blah, blah. And then you'll add that to your total aggro at the end of each round of fighting. Like, you go, your buddy goes, the minion goes. You go, your buddy goes, the minion goes. That's 2 rounds. 1 round is you go, your buddy goes, your minion goes. And then you'll add that to the total aggro every round. Movement, it's the same as the other page, just how many steps you can move. Remember, I said 10 max. Within an encounter. Outside, it's unlimited. Actions, you get a total of 2 unless you get initiative. If you're the first person to go, and like for the entire encounter, you'll get an extra action. Just 1 extra. If you use it, you use it. But you can have up to 2. You start every one with 1, and then you'll get an extra one as it becomes your turn. So if you have an extra one, you'll get to take 2 actions. But that's a maximum of 3 if you get initiative. So if you don't, you can not take an action and save it up till the next round, but you only get a maximum of 2 by not doing anything if you don't have initiative. So your health, total, current. Chakra, I had to write over mana or energy because monk, like I said, I've updated this already. This is an older one. I just wrote over it. Don't mind that. Monk only use chakra. They don't use energy or mana. Total 3, current 0. You always start off with 0 as a monk, blah, blah, blah. Your attack mod, your damage type is physical, which I use agility as my attack mod. It's not strength or anything like that. It's agility because I'm a monk. Agility is really neat. It actually is really good. I'm working on the effects of it and the way it interacts with defense mods, but it's really good. Basically, they can have all the plate armor they want, but agility is going to cut their defense mod in half, plus their speed, because you're like, instead of just going up and like slicing, is like just using your strength to fight, you're using agility. So you're going to like accurately stab in certain areas that might help you get more damage. You know what I mean? So their speed and their ability to like be quick is going to help defend against it. But anyway, that's my mod, and I get a bonus 1d4 as per my initial racial bonus or class bonus. And that one is just what I happened to roll the last time I was playing, and that's just a 28. You just add up all your numbers. Eventually this will all be automated and you won't have to do any of that. Wheel defense mod 13, armor defense mod, and you get bonuses. Some classes have bonuses, some different thing. You know, sometimes you get bonuses whether you're, you know, certain situations, plus your d20 roll, blah, blah, blah. Your diplomacy mod, plus a bonus, plus your d20 roll. Like I said, you'll be rolling against their diplomacy if they're humanoid and understand your language to be able to use abilities like Calm and Berserk and stuff like that. Everyone can use those abilities. You'll just use your diplomacy mod. Other characters like the Scion, which is like a mind mage, you'll use your diplomacy a lot more than you'll be using other things, because that's like mind control. So you have to have a high diplomacy number to be able to control somebody's mind. And that's kind of their job. So you'll be focusing on that as a Scion, or if you're like a tank. A good high diplomacy mod will be a successful taunt. And you'll be able to like taunt things better and make them attack you better and protect your party. Speed mod, like I said, that has a lot to do with a lot of things. You put your resistances in here just like in the other ones, feet and everything, but you won't have any feet mods yet. Ability list, like I said, put all your racial and class abilities that will only affect you in battle. I put CD 3, that's cooldown to 3. You know, I'll probably put a little insignia after that to be able to account for that. Items is here again, but only stuff that's going to affect you in battle, like a resurrection scroll, or like this mark scroll shouldn't even be there because you can't mark in battle, actually, to be honest. So I shouldn't have the marker recall scroll in there. Health potion, definitely important in battle, stuff like that. This is just your in battle stats, so you don't have to keep flipping back and forth. Oh, what's my stat there? Oh, it's over here. Okay, let me flip pages for 300 times. I don't have any background filled out for this character because it's a new character. But that's basically it. After that, once you fill out your battle log, leave the mob battle blank for now because you'll be filling that in later. You can also choose a profession from the list below. You may additionally put any background information or storyline following your race and the game's original storyline if possible. That would be wonderful if you could follow the original storyline. I've included the prologue that explains the different races and what they kind of do and what their job is and how they came about on the planet of Destria. And you can fill all that in, and now you're ready for the wilderness. So, if you have any questions beyond that, you just get a hold of me. I'm Kai Laurel Irander on Discord, and I'll be here to help you.